All right, looks like the Michigan Wolverines have got the punishment so far what they needed, but there's a much needed caveat that's in that situation that is going to propel everything. As we learned today, the fate of Jim Harbaugh and the Michigan Wolverines from the Big Ten came down today as a another 3 game suspension. Now you remember Jim Harbaugh was suspended 3 games early in the season. Now, if they had suspended him the first time around for the whole season, then it probably would have held a little bit more weight. But going into much needed argument with I guess you could say um, with him being banned 3 games, coming down to sign stealing pro note from here with Pete Tremmel from ESPN said that the Big Ten suspended Jim Harbaugh from being on the sideline during the games throughout the remainder of the season, which is 3 games. They have Penn State, one more, and then the rivalry game against Ohio State at the last game of the season. That's always at the last game of the season. Um, because of the NCAA investigation into the allegations of sign stealing by the football program, reported by Pete Trevor, who first reported of the ban. Harbaugh will still be allowed to coach during the week. Okay, help me make this make sense. You suspend him 3 games early in the season, he was still able to have a contact with the team, have a lot of influence on the team. So you suspend him 3 games for the rest of the season, and what you say, well, he's not supposed to have contact. He's not going to be on the sideline and all of that stuff. But guess what? Jim Harbaugh still could be at practice. He could still implement his game plan. He could still study the other teams he's playing against. And guess what? He still is going to have a significant impact on his team. Now, the players responded to the suspension. J.J. McCarthy, he first tweeted out, bet. Guess what? All the Michigan Wolverines players followed suit. Bet, 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 bet. Now, how do you think that's going to play well with Penn State? Knowing that Penn State is supposed to be this talented defensive team, Michigan's going to go out to look to destroy them because you got to think Penn State is their rival, and they probably say, well, you know what? They have something to do with it. Every other team has something to do with it. Ohio State going to be the last one to be victimized. They're going to have something to do with it. Michigan is going to be on a mission. And I said this before, and I'm going to say it again. Don't be surprised Michigan wins it all. Don't be surprised Michigan wins the national title with Jim Harbaugh still as the coach, even though he'll probably be suspended throughout the college playoff, the bowl games of the college playoff. But they did file a restraining order to get that turn. And if that goes well by tomorrow, then Jim Harbaugh will be back on the sideline just in time. Now, there was a statement from the university that says, like all members of the Big Ten Conference, we are entitled to a fair, deliberate, and throughout thoughtful process to determine the full set of facts before a judgment is rendered. Today, action by the Commissioner Tony Petitti disregards the conference own handbook, violates base tenets of the due process, and set on an attainable precedence of the assessing penalties before an investigation has been completed. We are dismayed of the commissioner's rush to judgment when there is an ongoing NCAA investigation, one in which we are fully cooperating. Also, continue to say, Commissioner Petitti hasty actions today suggest that there is more about reacting to pressure from the conference members than a desire to apply the rule fairly and impartially. By taking this action at this hour, the commissioner is personally inserting himself onto the sidelines and altering the level playing field that he is claiming to preserve. And doing so on Veterans Day, a court holiday, to try to thwart the university from seeking immediate judicial relief is hardly a profile and partially to ensure fairness into the process. We intended to seek an order together with Coach Harbaugh preventing this disciplinary action to take place. And this is where Michigan was already prepared themselves throughout the week by hearing since last week there might be a punishment. Some people thought it was going to be Monday. Some people thought it was going to be later in the week. But knowing that Michigan had a big game and they was bound to get on the plane to Penn State, they made sure that Jim Harbaugh did not go with this team. And this is what they set out. So by this report that Michigan releases in response to the punishment, and this was by Nicole Auerbach for The Athletic, we knew that Michigan was going to do this. And I kept saying this. I said, Michigan was going to file this. And if they get this overturned, there's no way you're going to be able to stop Michigan until next year. You'll be able to do anything that you need to do next year. And that's why it was so important that, and I even said it, even a couple of my friends in the chat, and I'll read a couple of my friends in the chat saying that what they was talking about. Yeah, say that I missed some of the comments, but anyway, nevertheless, I feel like, let me see, I think, oh yeah, there we go. One of my friends said, his name Ian, he said he still could coach during the week. They really can't get him with anything. Michigan will be fine. Exactly. They don't have anything because they succumb to pressure from the other Big Ten schools like Ohio State, like Penn State, like all of these guys, that they feel like they can't stop Michigan, regardless of whether if they steal signs or not. Okay, but you were supposed to wait to the due process to rule out your judgment. You did it, and because there was a big game. Why you didn't do it last week? You know what I'm saying? When you had all this time, but you waited till Michigan has the game. And this is why I kept saying, Michigan is going to end up winning the national championship this year. It sets up for it. All of these allegations, they're a better team. I think they'll beat Georgia. I don't think Georgia will three-peat. I think it's Michigan's championship to lose. Fair or unfair, however you feel about it, that's your choice. But this is going to be Michigan's national championship year. They are going to win it, and Jim Harbaugh is going to win the national championship, and he's going to ride off to the sunset. He's going to end up coming back to the NFL. And matter of fact, if that's the case or not, everybody's trying to compare Spygate to sign stealings and stuff, but they use video. It's the same thing. But nevertheless, and this is my argument, and I say I agree with Ian, and I agree Ian, and they just file a restraining order that might be overturned by the decision by tomorrow, and so another witch hunt. This is where I I said it again. I said it again. They don't have anything. They don't have anything. And reading the report is saying that Michigan files a temporary restraining order for Jim Harbaugh's suspension. Michigan football is challenging the Big Ten order for head coach Jim Harbaugh not to coach on Saturday. The #3 Wolverines face off with Penn State. The school filed a temporary restraining order Friday night that if granted, can stop the conference suspension of Jim Harbaugh from immediately taking place. The news was reported on the Detroit News, Angela Charles, and confirmed the Athletic by Nicole Archibald. The Big Ten announced Jim Harbaugh's 3-game regular season suspension around 3:30 when Jim Harbaugh and the Michigan Wolervines were about to board the flight to Penn State. They knew that. See, this was all a setup. They knew the time. They didn't say if they had did it this morning, boom, then he wouldn't have had to leave. But they waited to half of the day to when they had to board the plane that was at the airport just to embarrass. To me, I feel like they did it just to embarrass him. That's what it felt like to me. They did it to embarrass Jim Harbaugh. But my thing is this is, you're not going to be able to do anything to Jim Harbaugh because if this goes through tomorrow, guess what's going to happen? College game day, Fox noon kickoff is going to be reporting this. Everybody from Dan Patrick, 2 pros and a cup of Joe, us content creators on the internet is going to report this tomorrow because it's going to be overturned. It's going to be looking so stupid. Michigan plays at 12 o'clock tomorrow. They play at 12 o'clock tomorrow. So, and if they don't get it turned in time, they definitely get it overturned before the next 2 games. And if you look at Michigan's schedule for the next 2 games, going into this, if you look at Michigan next 2 games, they have Maryland and Ohio State. They come back for these 2 games, win them, boom, all over with. There's nothing else to talk about. You feel what I'm saying? So this saga is now over, and I think the Big Ten should have had just waited. I think they should, but like I said, they did this, and partially because of the fact they knew the ramifications. The other coaches, the other Big Ten schools provided pressure, and they've caved in, and they did it. And they knew, and I'm sure the Big Ten commissioner had a thinking in his head, like, dang, if I do this now, this could blow back on me. Well, guess what? It's going to blow back on you, my friend. So with that being said, just continue to watch this saga of Michigan football plays out because we're not out of the woods yet. I think Jim Harbaugh, me personally, Jim Harbaugh will be with his team tomorrow at some form of capacity. This could take, hopefully they get a ruling of the overturn tomorrow and see. And like I said, if they are granted that, guess what? Jim Harbaugh will be coaching in the college playoffs. I already said it. Michigan will win it, and Jim Harbaugh will get the last laugh, and then everybody will still be pissed off because guess what they're gonna say? Oh, they cheated. That's what they're gonna say. They cheated. Well, Jim Harbaugh's gonna stick it to them again. But you're suspended for 3 games, and he still can have contact with the team and practices. It really don't make no sense. So we'll see. But anyway, guys, this is your college report from Livewire Sports Media. Until then, enjoy your Saturday.